The bullet shattered the coffee shop window exactly where Amara's head had been 3 seconds ago. Glass exploded everywhere. People screamed. Amara hit the floor hard, her laptop sliding across the tiles, her heart trying to punch through her ribs. Another shot. The espresso machine erupted in sparks and steam. Someone was trying to kill her. Actually kill her. This wasn't a threat anymore. This was real. Strong hands grabbed her waist and suddenly she was moving, being dragged. A man's body covered hers completely as more shots rang out. They crashed through the back door into the alley. The man pulled her up and shoved her toward a black SUV. "Get in! Now!" Amara's journalist brain cataloged details even through her panic. Asian man, tall, expensive suit, military posture, cold eyes that scanned everything like a machine. He practically threw her into the back seat, and the car was moving before her door even closed. "What the hell is happening?" Her voice shook. "Who are you? Where are you taking me?" "Kang Min-jai. I'm your new bodyguard, and you just survived your third assassination attempt this week." "Third? I only knew about one. That's the problem." He didn't look at her. His eyes stayed on the rearview mirror. "You don't notice threats. That's why your newspaper hired me. Someone wants you dead before the trial next month." The trial. Right. 3 weeks ago, Amara had published an investigation exposing Judge Richard Morrison's connections to an international smuggling ring. Weapons, drugs, people. The story had blown up. Morrison was arrested. His partners were still out there, and apparently they wanted her silenced. "I didn't ask for a bodyguard. Your editor did. I don't work for you. I work for the people paying me to keep you breathing." Now he glanced at her in the mirror. "Which means for the next 90 days until the trial is over, you follow my rules. No exceptions." "Your rules? I'm a grown woman. I don't need some random guy telling me what to do." "That random guy just saved your life." His voice was flat, emotionless. "The shooter was positioned on the roof across the street. He had you in his sights for 45 seconds before he took the shot. You were so focused on your laptop you didn't notice the laser sight on your forehead." Amara's hand flew to her forehead. Her fingers came away trembling. "Where are you taking me?" "Somewhere safe. Somewhere they can't find you." 20 minutes later, the SUV pulled into an underground garage of a building Amara didn't recognize. Min-jae got out and opened her door. She noticed the gun holstered under his jacket. Noticed how his eyes never stopped moving. Noticed the other armed men positioned around the garage. "Come on." She followed, because what choice did she have? They took a private elevator to the top floor. When the doors opened, Amara stepped into the most beautiful penthouse she'd ever seen. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Modern furniture. A kitchen that belonged in a magazine. 2 doors leading to what she assumed were bedrooms. Welcome home for the next 90 days. "Excuse me?" Amara spun to face him. "I have an apartment, I have a life, I have stories to write and sources to meet, and you have people trying to kill you." Min-jae closed the elevator. She heard it lock. "Everything you need is here. Your clothes are already in the bedroom on the right. Your laptop will be returned after our tech team removes any tracking software. Your phone is compromised, so you'll use one of ours. Monitored calls only." "You can't be serious. Do I look like I'm joking?" He didn't. His face could have been carved from stone. Handsome stone, her brain unhelpfully noted. Sharp jawline, dark eyes that missed nothing. The kind of face that probably never smiled. "This is kidnapping. This is protection. There's a difference." He walked to the kitchen and started making coffee like he owned the place. Probably because he did. "You can hate me all you want. Scream, throw things, I don't care. My job is to keep you alive, not make you happy." "Unbelievable!" Amara paced the living room. You can't just lock me in a tower like some princess. I can, and I did. You're not leaving this penthouse until the trial is over. What about my job, my interviews, my sources? Video calls only, supervised. He poured 2 cups of coffee, brought one to her. She didn't take it. Your editor agreed to these terms. It's this or you're off the story completely. That made her pause. The Morrison case was the biggest story of her career. She'd spent 8 months investigating, risked everything to expose the truth. She couldn't walk away now. Fine, she snatched the coffee from his hand. But I have rules too. You stay out of my way. No reading my notes, no listening to my calls. And you definitely don't get to tell me when I can or can't work. Counter offer. Min-jae leaned against the kitchen counter. I do whatever I think is necessary to keep you alive. You follow every instruction I give without argument, and maybe we both survive the next 3 months. You're insufferable. You're reckless. Looks like we're stuck with each other. Hey, besties! Welcome back to the channel. This is for everyone who requested more bodyguard romance. You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Are you Team Amara or Team Min-jae? Let me know. Thank you as you do so. The first week was hell. Min-jae watched everything. When she worked, when she ate, when she slept. There were cameras in every room except the bathrooms and bedrooms. He reviewed every email before she sent it, listened to every phone call, vetted every person she wanted to contact. This is excessive, Amara complained on day 5. My own mother had to get security clearance to call me. Your mother's phone could be tapped. Anyone calling you is a potential risk. He didn't look up from his laptop. They were sitting in the living room. She was trying to write. He was doing whatever mysterious bodyguard things he did on his computer. Would you rather have privacy or life? Choose one. I hate you. Good. Hate keeps you alert. But hate wasn't exactly what Amara was feeling. That was the problem. She'd been living with Min-jae for 5 days, and she was noticing things. Like how he always made sure she ate even when she was too focused on work. How he took the couch even though there were 2 bedrooms because he wanted to be between her and the door. How his suits fit him perfectly, emphasizing broad shoulders and a lean waist. How he spoke Korean on the phone sometimes and his voice got softer, almost gentle. Stop it, she told herself. He's your jailer, not your type. Focus on the story. On day 8, her photographer colleague, Marcus, somehow got through building security. Amara was shocked to see him. Min-jae was furious. How did you get up here? Min-jae stepped between Marcus and Amara immediately. His whole body language changed, became threatening. Relax, man. I just wanted to check on Amara. Make sure she's okay. Marcus smiled, but it faltered under Min-jae's stare. Her editor gave me the address. Her editor doesn't have authority to give anyone this location. Min-jae pulled out his phone. You need to leave, now. Amara, tell your guard dog to back off. That was the wrong thing to say. Min-jae moved so fast Amara barely saw it. 1 second Marcus was standing. The next he was against the wall with Min-jae's hand on his chest. Let me be very clear. Min-jae's voice was deadly quiet. You don't get to decide what's safe for her. I do. You don't get to show up unannounced, ever. And you definitely don't call me a guard dog in my own house. He leaned closer. She's under my protection. That means she's mine to keep safe. Not yours, not anyone's. Mine. Understand? Something hot twisted in Amara's stomach at those words. Mine. Like he meant more than just professionally. Min-jae let him go. She touched his arm, felt the tension in his muscles. Please. He released Marcus immediately, stepped back, His expression went neutral again, like he hadn't just threatened someone. "You have 5 minutes to leave. If you ever bypass my security again, I'll have you arrested." Min-jae walked away, disappeared into his bedroom. Marcus rubbed his chest. "That guy is intense. You okay here? Like, actually okay?" "I'm fine. He seems possessive. That's not normal for a bodyguard, Amara. He's just doing his job." But her eyes drifted to where Min-jae had gone. Was Marcus right? Was there something more than professional duty in the way Min-jae acted? After Marcus left, Amara found Min-jae in his bedroom. The door was open. He stood by the window, hands in his pockets, staring at the city below. That was excessive. That was necessary. He compromised your security. "He's my friend," he was worried. "Friends don't put you in danger." Min-jae finally looked at her. "Do you know how many ways someone could have used him to get to you? Followed him here, bribed him for information, used him as a distraction while someone else attacked. I have to assume everyone is a threat until proven otherwise. That sounds exhausting. It keeps people alive." Amara leaned against the doorframe. "Why do you do this?" "The bodyguard thing. You're ex-military, right? You could do anything." For a moment she thought he wouldn't answer. Then he said quietly, "I lost someone once. Someone I was supposed to protect. I failed. This job is how I make sure that never happens again." The vulnerability in his voice surprised her. This was the first real thing he'd shared. The first crack in his armor. "Who did you lose?" "Someone who mattered." He turned away from the window. "It won't happen again. Not with you. Not on my watch." The intensity in his eyes made her breath catch. This wasn't just a job to him. This was personal. Some kind of redemption he was seeking. "I'm sorry for whoever you lost." "Don't be sorry. Just stay alive." That night, Amara couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Min-jae's words, his past, the person he'd failed to protect. She got up for water and found him on the couch in the dark, a gun on the coffee table, his eyes alert despite the late hour. "Do you ever sleep?" "Enough." She sat in the chair across from him. The city lights filtered through the windows, casting shadows across his face. "Tell me about her, the person you lost." "Why?" "Because you know everything about me and I know nothing about you. That doesn't seem fair." Min-jae was quiet for so long she thought he'd refuse. Then he said, "Her name was Ji-won. We were engaged. I was doing private security even then. She was attacked by people targeting my client. They thought hurting her would distract me." His jaw clenched. They were right. I left my post to save her. My client died. Ji-won died. I failed everyone. That wasn't your fault. It was exactly my fault. I let emotions compromise my judgment. That's why I have rules now. No emotional attachments, no distractions. The mission is everything. That sounds lonely. Lonely keeps people alive. Amara understood then. The cold exterior, the rigid control, the way he kept distance between them. He was terrified of caring, terrified of failing again. "You won't fail me," she said softly. "You don't know that." "Yes, I do, because you're the most dedicated person I've ever met, and because—" She stopped herself. "Because what?" "Because I'm starting to trust you, because I feel safe with you. Because sometimes when you look at me, I forget we're supposed to be just bodyguard and client." She couldn't say any of that. "Because you're really good at this job." His eyes held hers in the darkness. Something passed between them. Recognition, awareness, danger of a different kind. "Go to sleep, Amara. You should sleep too." "I will, after I'm sure you're safe." She went back to her room, but sleep didn't come. She lay in bed listening to the quiet apartment and thought about the man on the couch who blamed himself for things that weren't his fault. who built walls to protect everyone but himself, who was becoming more than just her bodyguard, whether either of them wanted it or not. This was going to be a very long 90 days. By week 3, Amara had learned Minjai's routines. He woke at 5 every morning for exercise, made breakfast at 6:30, checked security systems at 7, worked on his laptop until she woke up. Then his entire focus shifted to her. Where she was, what she was doing, who she was talking to. It should have felt suffocating. Instead, it felt like being seen. Really seen, for the first time in years. "You need to learn self-defense," Minjai announced one morning. "Basic moves in case something happens when I'm not right next to you. You're always right next to me. Humor me." They cleared furniture from the living room. Minjai changed into black training pants and a fitted t-shirt. Amara tried not to stare at his arms, failed completely. When had she started noticing his body? When had that become a thing? First lesson, someone grabs you from behind. He moved behind her, his chest pressed against her back, his arms wrapped around her, trapping her arms to her sides. "What do you do?" Amara's brain short-circuited. All she could think about was the heat of his body, the strength in his arms, how good he smelled, like clean soap and something distinctly him. "Amara, focus. Right. She tried to think. "Scream? Good start. Then you drop your weight and twist." He guided her through the movement, his hands on her waist, her body turning into his. Suddenly they were face to face, inches apart. His eyes dropped to her mouth for just a second. Like that, her heart hammered. Okay. Again. Faster this time. They practiced. Over and over. Each time his hands were on her. Each time their bodies pressed together. The air grew thick with tension. Neither of them acknowledged. Sweat dampened her shirt. His breathing grew heavier. "Now someone grabs your wrist," he demonstrated. His grip was firm but careful. "You rotate your arm toward their thumb. That's the weak point. Then strike with your other hand." She followed his instruction, twisted free. But when she went to strike, he caught her hand. They froze. His fingers wrapped around her wrist, her palm against his chest. She could feel his heartbeat, racing as fast as hers. "Good," he said roughly. "That's good." But he didn't let go. Neither did she. The moment stretched, dangerous, charged. His eyes searched hers like he was fighting something, losing something. His thumb brushed the inside of her wrist where her pulse jumped. Minjai's phone rang. The spell broke. He released her and stepped back, pulling out his phone. Answered in Korean, his voice professional again. But Amara saw how his free hand clenched into a fist, saw the tension in his shoulders. He felt it too, whatever this was building between them. After the call, he cleared his throat. "That's enough for today. Good work." He disappeared into his room. Amara stood in the living room, her skin still tingling where he'd touched her, and wondered what the hell she was doing. Falling for her bodyguard. Really. The man who'd literally locked her in a penthouse. But it didn't feel like a prison anymore. It felt like the safest place in the world. If you're enjoying this story, smash that like button and drop a comment telling me what you think is going to happen next. Will they finally admit their feelings? Tell me below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We post new romance stories every week. Now back to Amara and Minjai. That night, everything changed. Amara was working late on her laptop when she heard Minjai on the phone in his room. He was speaking Korean, but his tone was sharp, angry. She shouldn't eavesdrop. She definitely shouldn't care this much. But she did. When he emerged 20 minutes later, his expression was dark. "Problem? Nothing that concerns you. Everything about my safety concerns me." He poured himself a drink. Whiskey, straight. That was new. She'd never seen him drink before. Min-jae, what happened? They identified the shooter from the coffee shop. He's connected to Marcus. Amara's blood went cold. What? Not directly. But the shooter has done work for Marcus's cousin, who has connections to Morrison's smuggling ring. Min-jae downed the whiskey. It could be coincidence, or it could mean Marcus led them right to you. No, Marcus wouldn't. He's my friend. People betray friends for money every day. You're wrong. Marcus has been my colleague for 3 years. He's a good person. Good people make bad choices when they're desperate or threatened or bought. Min-jae's eyes were hard. I'm having him investigated. Until then, no contact. You can't cut me off from everyone I know. I can and I will if it keeps you alive. This is insane. You're being paranoid. I'm being careful. There's a difference. Amara slammed her laptop shut. I'm going to bed, where you can't control my thoughts. Yet. She stormed to her room, slammed the door, threw herself on the bed, and wanted to scream. This was impossible. She was trapped with a man who saw threats everywhere, who trusted no one, who was driving her absolutely insane with his rules and his control and his infuriatingly handsome face. An hour later, she heard sounds in the living room. Crashes, thuds. She opened her door and found Min-jae destroying his training dummy, punching it with brutal force. His knuckles were bleeding, his face twisted with something between rage and anguish. Min-jae, stop! He didn't hear her, kept punching. The dummy's head snapped back with each hit. Min-jae! She grabbed his arm. He spun, and for a second she saw something wild in his eyes. Then he recognized her, and everything in him went still. Your hands. She held his wrists. Blood dripped onto the floor. Come here. She pulled him to the kitchen, made him sit, got the first aid kit from under the sink. He watched her silently as she cleaned his knuckles with antiseptic. His hands were shaking slightly. What was that about? Nothing. Destroying your training equipment is not nothing. She wrapped gauze around his right hand, moved to his left, her fingers gentle on his damaged skin. Talk to me. I can't. Why not? Because if I start talking, I'll say things I can't take back. Her hands stilled. She looked up at him. His dark eyes were fixed on her face with an intensity that stole her breath. What things? Things that cross lines I swore I'd never cross again. His voice was rough, raw. Things that could get us both killed. I don't understand. Yes, you do. His undamaged hand came up, cupped her cheek. His thumb brushed her bottom lip. You feel it too. This thing between us. I've been trying to ignore it, trying to stay professional, but you make it impossible. Amara's heart stopped, started again, double time. Min-jae, I can't stop thinking about you, can't stop noticing every little thing you do. The way you bite your lip when you're concentrating, how you hum when you cook, the sound of your laugh. His forehead dropped to hers. I'm losing my mind, and it's the most dangerous thing that could happen. Why is it dangerous? Because last time I let emotions compromise my judgment, people died. Because if I'm thinking about how much I want to kiss you, I'm not thinking about keeping you safe. Because you deserve better than someone broken who sees threats everywhere and can't promise you anything beyond the next 90 days. She should step back, should remind him they barely knew each other, should protect herself from the inevitable heartbreak. Instead, she closed the distance between them and kissed him. Min-jae went rigid with surprise. For a heartbeat, he didn't respond. Then something in him broke. His arms wrapped around her waist, pulling her against him. He kissed her back like he was drowning, and she was air. Deep, desperate. Years of loneliness and control shattering between them. Amara's hands slid into his hair. His grip tightened. The kiss grew heated, demanding. She felt his restraint fraying with each passing second, felt her own control slipping away. He pulled back suddenly, his breathing harsh, his eyes wild. "We can't." "Why not?" "Because I can't protect you if I'm distracted. Can't think clearly if all I want is you." He stood, stepped away, put distance between them even though it clearly cost him. "This was a mistake." The words hurt worse than they should have. "A mistake," she repeated flatly. "I have a job to do, rules I can't break." His hands clenched at his sides. What just happened can't happen again. "Fine." Pride lifted her chin. "Consider it forgotten." She walked to her room with her head high and her heart cracking, closed the door quietly, then leaned against it and let the tears fall. In the living room, Min-jae stood exactly where she'd left him, his damaged hands at his sides, his eyes closed, and whispered to the empty room, "I'm sorry." But sorry didn't change anything. Sorry didn't make them possible. Sorry just made the next 60 days stretching ahead feel like torture. The next morning was agony. They were painfully polite, carefully distant. Everything felt wrong. "Coffee?" he offered. "Thank you." "Sleep well?" "Fine." "You?" "Fine." Both were lying. Amara buried herself in work. Min-jae disappeared into his room for hours. When he emerged, his face was carefully blank. Professional, like the kiss never happened. On day 32, Amara's editor called with news. "We've got a break in the Morrison case. One of his partners wants to make a deal, but he'll only talk to you. Says he trusts you to tell the story right." "Where is he?" "That's the problem. He's in a safe house across town. You'd have to leave the penthouse." Amara looked at Min-jae. He'd been listening, of course. His expression was thunderous. "No," he said flatly. "I wasn't asking permission." "The answer is still no. It's too dangerous." Amara covered the phone. "This is my job, my story. You can't stop me from doing it." "I can and I will." "Then we have a problem." She spoke into the phone. "Tell him I'll be there. Text me the address." She hung up. Min-jae moved fast, took her phone right out of her hand. "You're not going." "Give that back." "No." "Min-jae, I'm not a child. I'm a journalist. This is the story that could put Morrison away for life. I have to do this. Not if it gets you killed." "Then come with me. Isn't that your job, to keep me safe wherever I go?" He stared at her, something warring behind his eyes. Finally he said, "Fine, but we do this my way, my route, my timeline, my security protocols. You don't leave my sight for a single second." "Agreed." "Agreed." 1 hour later, they were in the SUV. Min-jae drove. 2 other security vehicles flanked them. He'd called in backup, checked the route 3 times, made her wear a bulletproof vest under her jacket. "This feels excessive," she muttered. "This feels necessary." The safe house was in a quiet neighborhood. Min-jae made her stay in the car while he cleared the building. When he gave the all clear, she followed him inside. The informant was a nervous man named Chen who'd worked logistics for Morrison's smuggling operation. He talked for 2 hours, gave names, dates, shipment routes, everything Amara needed to blow the case wide open. "This is incredible," she told Min-jae as they left. "This is going to—" The explosion threw them both off their feet. Amara hit the ground hard. Her ears rang. Smoke filled her lungs. Someone was screaming. Maybe her. Then Min-jae was there, his body covering hers. His voice in her ear sharp and commanding. "Stay down. Don't move." Gunfire erupted. She heard shouting. More explosions. Min-jae returned fire, his gun appearing in his hand like magic. He dragged her behind a car. Glass shattered above them. "Are you hurt?" His hands moved over her quickly, checking for injuries. "I don't think so." Good. Stay behind me. When I say run, you run. Understand? Minjae. Amara, do you understand? Yes. It happened fast. Minjae took out 2 attackers. His backup team engaged the others. He grabbed her hand, and they ran. Made it to the SUV. He shoved her in the back and floored it. But they weren't clear yet. Another vehicle pursued them. More gunfire. The back window exploded. Minjae swerved through traffic like a stunt driver, his face a mask of concentration. Then he jerked, made a sound. Minjae, I'm fine. Stay down. But red was blooming across his left shoulder. He'd been shot. You're bleeding! Noticed that. He took a sharp turn. It's not bad. You've been shot. That's the definition of bad. I've had worse. Amara pressed her jacket against his shoulder. Applied pressure. He hissed in pain but didn't slow down. 10 minutes later, they lost the pursuit. 15 minutes after that, they were back at the penthouse. Minjae, parked in the garage, tried to get out. His legs buckled. Minjae! Amara caught him, or tried to. He was too heavy. They both went down. Stay with me. Please stay with me. I'm okay, just need a minute. But his face was pale. Too pale. We need a hospital. No hospitals. Too exposed. He fumbled for his phone. Called someone. Spoke in Korean. Hung up. Doc will be here in 20 minutes. You could die in 20 minutes. Won't die. Promise. His hand found hers. Squeezed. I told you. I won't fail you. You're not failing me. You saved me. Again. Tears burned her eyes. You always save me. That's my job. It's more than a job. The words burst out. You know it is. I know you feel this too. Feel us. His eyes held hers. So much emotion there. Things he wouldn't say. Amara. Don't push me away. Not now. Not when you're bleeding because of me. Not because of you. For you. Big difference. The doctor arrived with medical equipment. She was a small Korean woman who barked orders in English and Korean. She shooed Amara out of the way and got to work. Amara paced the living room, her hands shaking, her mind replaying the attack, the explosion, the gunfire, Minjae's body covering hers. He could have died. He'd put himself between her and the bullets without hesitation. That was more than duty. That was, he'll be fine! Amara jumped. The doctor was packing her equipment. Minjae sat on the couch, shirtless, his shoulder bandaged. His face was still too pale, but his eyes were alert. The bullet went through. Missed everything important. He's lucky. The doctor gave Minjae a stern look. Rest. No exercise for a week. And maybe stop getting shot. I'll try. After the doctor left, silence filled the apartment. Amara sat in the chair across from Minjae. Just looked at him. This infuriating, heroic, complicated man who'd become everything. Thank you, she said quietly, for saving my life. Again. You're welcome. And I'm sorry. You were right. It was too dangerous. I shouldn't have insisted. Stop. He leaned forward despite the obvious pain. You were doing your job. I was doing mine. What happened wasn't your fault. You got shot. And you're alive. That's all that matters to me. His voice dropped, rough with emotion. When that explosion went off and I couldn't see you for a second, He stopped, swallowed hard. I can't lose you. I won't survive losing you. Amara moved to the couch beside him, careful not to jar his injury. You're not going to lose me. You don't know that. Today proved how fast things can go wrong. Then we'll be more careful. But Minjae, you can't keep sacrificing yourself for me. Yes, I can. That's exactly what I'll do. His good hand cupped her face. You matter more than I do. More than my rules or my fears or my past. You matter more than anything. That's not true. It is, and it terrifies me. Because caring this much makes me vulnerable. makes you vulnerable. His thumb brushed her cheekbone. But I can't stop. Can't unfeel what I feel. You've gotten under my skin, Amara Johnson. Broken down every wall I built. And I don't know what to do about it except keep you safe and hope that's enough. It's enough. You're enough. She kissed him softly, carefully, mindful of his injury. And I care about you too. So much it scares me. This wasn't supposed to happen. Nothing about us was supposed to happen. But it did. But it did, he agreed. This kiss was different from the first. Slower, sweeter, full of emotion instead of desperation. His good arm wrapped around her waist. Her hands framed his face. They kissed like they had all the time in the world. Like nothing else existed except this moment. When they finally pulled apart, Minjai rested his forehead against hers. I can't promise you normal. Can't promise you safe. My world is dangerous and complicated, and I don't want normal. I want you. Amara, I want you, she repeated firmly. With your rules and your paranoia and your tendency to get shot protecting me, all of it. I want all of you. Something in his eyes broke, softened. You're going to be the death of me. No, I'm going to be the life of you. She kissed him again. Now rest, doctor's orders. Bossy, you like it. His smile was small but real, the first genuine smile she'd seen from him. It transformed his face, made him look younger, lighter. Yeah, I really do. Are you loving this story? Drop a like if you're rooting for Amara and Minjai. Comment below, telling me your favorite moment so far. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button now. More romance coming your way. Now let's see what happens next. The next week was strange. Good strange. They'd crossed a line and neither of them wanted to go back. Minjai was still recovering, which meant he couldn't work out or drive or do half the things that usually kept him busy. So they just existed together. They cooked together. Amara learned to make Korean stew. Minjai learned to make her grandmother's cornbread. They watched movies on the couch with his good arm around her shoulders. They talked for hours about everything and nothing. Their childhoods, their dreams, their fears. I wanted to be a war correspondent, Amara admitted one night. Travel the world, tell important stories. Then my dad got sick and I needed to stay close to home. Took the local paper job, thought it was temporary. She shrugged. 10 years later, here I am. You tell important stories now. The Morrison case matters. You matter. What about you? Did you always want to do security work? I wanted to help people. Thought the military was the way. Then I got out and realized I was better at protection than combat. Found private security. Met Jiwon. His jaw tightened. Lost her. Spent 5 years punishing myself. Then your case came along. What made you take my case? He was quiet for a moment, then said, Your editor showed me your photo, told me about the threats. And something in your eyes in that picture reminded me why I do this. You looked determined, brave, like you wouldn't let anyone silence you. His fingers traced patterns on her arm. I wanted to make sure no one did. And now I want things I have no right to want. He turned to look at her. 90 days isn't enough, won't ever be enough with you. Her heart squeezed. So what do we do when the 90 days are up? I don't know. Figure it out together, maybe. Together. I like the sound of that. He kissed her temple, soft, sweet, the kind of kiss that promised more than just passion. Promised forever if they were brave enough to reach for it. On day 45, exactly halfway through their time together, Minjai sat her down with a serious expression. We need to talk about the trial. It's in 45 days. Security will be intense. Morrison's people will make one last push to stop you from testifying. I know. I need you to promise me something. When we're at the courthouse, you do exactly what I say. No arguments, no hesitation. If I tell you to run, you run. If I tell you to get down, you get down. Your life depends on following my instructions. I promise. I'm serious, Amara. So am I. She took his hands. His shoulder had healed well over the past 2 weeks. He was almost back to full strength. I trust you. Completely. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Relief crossed his face. Thank you. But you have to promise me something too. Promise you won't sacrifice yourself, won't throw yourself in front of bullets. We both survive this, or neither of us do. Amara, promise me, Minjai. I can't lose you either. He pulled her into his lap. Careful, gentle, his arms wrapped around her waist. I promise to do everything I can to make sure we both walk away from this. But if it comes down to a choice... No choice. We survive together. He kissed her instead of arguing. Deep, thorough. The kind of kiss that made her forget her own name. When he pulled back, his eyes were dark with want. Stay with me tonight, in my room. Her breath caught. They'd been dancing around this for weeks. Stolen kisses, heated moments that always stopped before going too far. But the way he looked at her now said he didn't want to stop anymore. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. His hand slid into her hair. I want you, all of you. Not just for tonight, but for as long as you'll have me. That might be forever. Good. Forever sounds perfect. He stood, lifting her with him. She wrapped her legs around his waist as he carried her to his bedroom. Kicked the door closed behind them. The city lights filtered through the windows, casting soft shadows across his face. Minjai set her down gently beside the bed. His hands framed her face like she was something precious, breakable. Last chance to change your mind. I'm not changing my mind. She pulled his shirt over his head, traced the scar on his shoulder where the bullet had gone through. I want this, want you. What happened next was passion and tenderness mixed together. His hands learning every curve of her body, her fingers exploring the planes of his chest, his back, the muscles that flexed under her touch. They took their time. No rushing, just feeling, connecting, becoming something more than bodyguard and client. More than two people thrown together by circumstance. They became partners. Equals, two people choosing each other despite the danger and the complications and the uncertain future. When they finally came together, it was perfect, right? Like two puzzle pieces, finally finding where they belonged. Minjai whispered her name like a prayer. Amara held him like she'd never let go. They moved together in perfect rhythm, building something beautiful in the darkness, something that felt like hope. Like home, like love. Afterwards, they lay tangled together, his arm around her waist, her head on his chest, his heartbeat steady under her ear. No regrets, he asked softly. None. You. Only that I waited this long. He kissed her hair. I love you, Amara. I know it's fast. I know it's complicated. But I love you. You need to know that. Tears pricked her eyes. Happy tears this time. I love you too, so much. Even though I locked you in a penthouse? Even though. Maybe because. I don't know, she laughed. You're impossible and infuriating, and the best thing that ever happened to me. Same, sweetheart. Same. They fell asleep like that, wrapped around each other, safe, together. Not knowing what tomorrow would bring, but knowing they'd face it as a team. The next morning, everything felt different. Lighter. Minjai made breakfast shirtless. Amara wore his t-shirt. They moved around the kitchen like they'd been doing this for years instead of weeks. Stealing kisses, laughing, being happy despite everything waiting outside their bubble. I could get used to this, Amara said, sipping coffee. Then get used to it, because I'm not letting you go when this is over. What about your rules, your walls? You demolished those a long time ago. He pulled her close, kissed her slow and sweet. You're stuck with me now. Good, because you're stuck with me too. But their happiness couldn't last forever. Reality crashed back in on day 67. Min-jae got a call that made his face go cold, hard. When he hung up, he looked at her with fear in his eyes. Real fear. What happened? They found Chen, the informant. He's dead. Murdered in protective custody. Min-jae started pacing. If they could get to him in a safe house with federal protection, they can get to anyone. What does that mean for us? It means we're running out of time. It means Morrison's people are desperate. It means the next 23 days are going to be the most dangerous yet. He stopped in front of her, gripped her shoulders. I need you to be ready. Need you to be smart. Can you do that? Yes. I'm doubling security. No more video calls. No more contact with anyone outside this building. We're going full lockdown until the trial. Okay. I'm serious, Amara. This is life or death now. I know. I trust you. She cupped his face. We're going to make it through this. Both of us. Together. He kissed her hard, desperately, like he was trying to memorize the taste of her. I won't let anything happen to you. I swear it. I know. But that night, as Amara lay in Min-jae's arms listening to the city outside, she felt the weight of what was coming. 23 days until the trial. 23 days until Morrison's last chance to silence her. 23 days until they either survived or didn't. She held Min-jae tighter, felt him hold her back just as fiercely. Whatever happened, they'd face it together. That was enough. That had to be enough. On day 89, the night before the trial, neither of them could sleep. They lay in bed watching the clock tick toward morning, toward the moment everything would be decided. I have a bad feeling, Amara whispered. Me too. Min-jae turned to face her. But we've prepared for everything. My team is the best. The courthouse security is airtight. We're going to be okay. Promise? Promise. He kissed her softly. This time tomorrow, you'll have testified. Morrison will be finished, and we'll have the rest of our lives ahead of us. What does that look like? Our lives after this. Whatever you want. We could stay here, could go anywhere. I have enough saved to retire from security work if you want. Or I could keep doing it with you as my partner. Your choice. Partner in what? Everything. Life, work, whatever comes next. He tucked her hair behind her ear. I want forever with you, Amara. Want to wake up next to you every morning. Want to grow old watching you chase stories and change the world. Want everything. I want that too. Then that's what we'll have. After tomorrow, we start building it. They made love one more time. Slow, sweet, saying with their bodies what words couldn't express. Then they held each other until dawn broke through the windows, until it was time to face what waited outside their safe haven. Min-jae dressed in his bulletproof vest, triple-checked his weapons, made Amara wear 2 layers of protection. His team assembled in the garage. 8 men, all armed, all loyal. Ready? He asked her. Ready. They drove to the courthouse in a convoy. 3 vehicles. Min-jae drove theirs with Amara in the back. Every street was checked. Every route was secured. Nothing was left to chance. They were 2 blocks from the courthouse when the attack came. Not from the street, from above. A drone dropped something on the lead vehicle. The explosion was massive. The car flipped, crashed, burned. Go! 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 Min-jae shouted. Their driver hit the gas, but more drones appeared. More explosives. The street erupted in fire and smoke. Min-jae yanked Amara out of the car. They ran. His team surrounded them. Gunfire from somewhere. People screaming. Chaos everywhere. The courthouse! Min-jae pointed. We can make it! They ran. 50 yards. 40. 30. Almost there. Then Minjai saw the shooter on the roof, saw the rifle aimed at Amara's back, saw everything in slow motion. He didn't hesitate, didn't think, just acted. He threw himself in front of her as the shot rang out. The bullet hit him center mass. The vest stopped it, but the impact dropped him hard. Amara screamed, tried to catch him. His team returned fire, took out the shooter. "Minjai!" Amara knelt beside him. His vest had a crater in it. He gasped for air, couldn't breathe. "Stay with me. Please stay with me." "I'm okay," he wheezed. "Just knock the wind out." You promised we'd both survive." "We will." He struggled to his feet. His team helped. "Keep moving." They made it to the courthouse. Inside, safe, federal marshals surrounded them. Minjai collapsed against a wall. Amara clung to him, both of them shaking. "You idiot," she sobbed. "You complete idiot." "Kept you alive. That's all that matters." "You matter. You promised." "And I kept my promise. We both survived, barely, but we did." He cupped her face, kissed her forehead. "We did it, sweetheart. We made it." The trial went forward. Amara testified, told the truth, put Morrison away for life. Through it all, Minjai sat in the back of the courtroom, his eyes never leaving her, keeping her safe even when the immediate danger had passed. When it was over, when the verdict came back guilty, when Morrison was led away in handcuffs, Amara walked straight to Minjai. He stood, opened his arms. She walked into them and finally let herself break down. "It's over," he whispered. "It's finally over. What happens now? Now we live, really live. No more hiding, no more fear, just us and whatever future we want to build." 3 months later, Amara stood in their new apartment. Not the penthouse, something smaller, cozier, theirs. Minjai came up behind her, wrapped his arms around her waist, kissed her neck. "Happy?" "So happy." She turned in his arms. "Still can't believe this is real." "Believe it." He kissed her properly. "You're stuck with me forever now." "Good. Because I love you. I love you too." They'd survived everything thrown at them. Danger, betrayal, fear, violence, and come out the other side stronger, together, building something beautiful from the ashes of what could have destroyed them. Amara still wrote her stories. Minjai still did security work, but only for clients they both approved. They were partners in everything, just like he'd promised, just like she'd wanted. And when Amara found out she was pregnant 6 months later, when she told Minjai and watched his face light up with pure joy, she knew they'd made it. Really made it. From bodyguard and client to lovers to partners to family. "We're having a baby," he whispered, his hands on her still flat stomach. "A baby. Are you happy?" "Happiest I've ever been." He kissed her deeply. "Thank you. For trusting me, for loving me, for giving me a reason to believe in happiness again. Thank you for saving my life. In every way a person can be saved." Their daughter was born 9 months later. Perfect, beautiful, a mix of both of them. They named her Jiwan Amara, honoring the past while building the future. And as Minjai held his daughter for the first time, tears streaming down his face, Amara knew this was what they'd been fighting for all along. Not just survival, but life, love, family, everything. "I told you we'd make it," she whispered. "You did. You were right." He looked at her with his daughter in his arms and smiled that rare, beautiful smile that was only for them. About everything. The end. Thank you so much, besties, for staying until the end. If you loved Amara and Minjai's story, please drop a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below, telling me what your favorite moment was. Should we do more bodyguard romance stories? Let me know. Your support means everything and helps us create more amazing content. Until next time, keep believing in love, even when it comes from the most unexpected places. See you in the next story.